Hi everybody, I'm back with another video about my Tandy 1000, and this time I wanted to show you some of the shareware games that we had when I was a kid. So sometime in 1991 or 92, we got a couple of discs from Gemini Marketing Incorporated. They were a small company in Duvall, Washington, which is a small town northeast of Seattle, and they specialized in shareware games. So they would send you out these little catalogs and you could order through the mail different computer games and utilities, starting from $1.25. And the idea was that you would then copy those programs and share them with your friends to circulate them wider. And then anyone who really appreciated the programs could then mail in a donation of $10 or something to the creator's post office box. So since I grew up in Washington, it wasn't too strange that we ended up with a couple of these discs. And in fact, Gemini Marketing had an actual retail outlet in Bellevue, Gemini Shareware of Bellevue. My older brother Chad seems to remember that one of his school friends, maybe like their uncle, worked at the retail outlet in Bellevue, which seems plausible. So anyways, we ended up with a couple of these discs. And the first one I'm going to show you is this game called Marooned Again. So let's take a look at that. Marooned Again by Dennis Drew. Marooned Again is a user-supported program. Please feel free to copy it and give copies to your friends. We feel this is one of the finest adventure games ever written. If you like it, we ask that you send us whatever donation you feel is fair. So that's the essence of shareware right there. They hope that you'll copy the game and pass it on to your friends, and that everyone will send in donations to support the author. So let's take a look at the plot of this game. Welcome to Marooned Again. That is exactly where you are, marooned. You have wrecked your spaceship on an alien planet. You are hurt and cannot move. Fortunately, your entire ship functions can be controlled from your cabin. By use of your scanners, you discover an alien craft, deserted but in perfect working order. You tap into your ship cloning section and produce a clone to go over and explore the alien vessel. But the cloning section was damaged and your clone is, to put it mildly, brainless. You will have to tell it everything to do. You patch it in through your telepathy pack and send it off to the alien ship. You know from the design of the vessel that there are several components that will be needed to get it to take off. Your clone will need to search the ship for those components, then go for help. With hope in your heart, you send the clone off. If it fails, tisk tisk tisk. So, this is a text-based adventure game, and you can type certain things like search or examine to in the different areas you end up. You can go north, south, east, and west, and up and down to navigate. And it's a lot of trial and error, trying to figure out what you can type that'll actually solve the situation. So we'll get started by going south. And here we are at that alien ship. So we're gonna climb down, and you are in the forest of an alien planet. To the south is a deep crevice. To the east, you see some dirt mounds. Well, let's go east first. And let's examine the mounds. Oh, a carnivorous alien plant rises up and grabs you. So there are a lot of things in this game that can kill you, and it's a lot of trial and error. So let's try again. We'll go south, and this time let's go north to the dangerous looking ledges. And if we examine the ledges, you find a dead alien. And if we examine the alien, you found some strange things. So these are a couple of things that we're going to need. We're going to get the tube, and we're going to get the cube. So let's go south back and go up back to the ship. And as it says, to the side of the hatch, you see a square hole. So that's the first puzzle we had to solve. So we had to get the cube and then put the cube in the hole. The hatch activates. So let's get our cube back and go in the hatch. You find yourself in an airlock standing on a thick disc-shaped platform. So there's corridors leading in many directions, but they're all kind of just misdirects. Like, in this locker, there are photos of nude aliens. Oh, can we get the photos? Oh, you pervert, no. Oh. So eventually you figure out that we're standing on this thick disc-shaped platform, and what you have to do is move the disc, and that reveals the shaft leading down. So let's go down. And here we are in the main part of the ship, and there are a lot of ways to go, and it's easy to get lost. So luckily I know which way to go. We're going to start by going east. And there's a security robot, and now if we examine this tube that we picked up from the alien, it says that it looks like a weapon. So what we can do is we can shoot the security robot, and it falls and bashes through a secret compartment. There's a hole in the floor, so go hole. This is nice and cozy looking. It is an entertainment section. On one wall is a large video screen. So let's examine the screen. You find a yellow button. So push yellow button. The video comes on. A riddle appears on the screen. We measure all things, great and small. We're set of years and just how tall. We tell how far it is to there, and we pertain unto your hair. What are we? So this is where I was stuck on the game as a kid. I could never figure out the riddle, and I decided as an adult I was going to solve this riddle and I was going to finish this game. So I spent a couple of days thinking about it, and then I asked my dad and my brother if they had any ideas, and I even went so far as to post on the Reddit R Riddles subreddit to see if anyone had any ideas. And after weeks of puzzling over this, I finally decided to do some more sleuthing online, and I found this website called Solution Archive, which has the solutions to all these old text-based adventure games. And so it turns out that the answer to this riddle is numbers. Correct. You hear a mechanical click, and that opens up the door, and you are in the cavern entrance. A sign on the wall says Crystal Caverns, guide here. It's a good thing you can read Nook. A tunnel leads up, so let's go up. So these crystal caverns are a total maze that you can easily get lost in. I know that at some point you have to get one of the crystals, and from there I think you go down and then up and then down and then up again. And we did it. The supply room. No telling what interesting thing you might find in a place like this. So I know that you need to get the cord. We'll use that later. And then in the laboratory, you are surrounded by gruesome sights. You see a great number of bottles and chemicals. So if we try to get one of the bottles, something falls on the floor. And if we take a look, it's a magnet, which is another thing that we need. Get magnet. So we're moving right along here. Here in the recreation room, there are large tubes in the ceiling, and I know that if you go through one of the tubes, you end up in the captain's quarters. So we're going to examine his closet, and then we're going to examine his clothes, and that's how we get his ID badge. So from here, we'll go west, and we are in the reactor room. While we're here, I know that you need to push the blue button. Oops. Oh, man. And the hidden door in the cabinet opens, and if we examine the cabinet, that's how we get the fuel pellet, one more of the things we need to collect. So we'll go south from here, and here we are passing past the robot that we blasted. This is the hydroponics plant. Top technology too. Everything in here is that a botanist would require to grow the finest of alien flora. So if you examine the plants here, there are more of those carnivorous plants that we found outside, and that's another thing in the ship that'll kill you. So we're going to examine the boxes, and that's how we get the tri-crystal. So if we go south from here to the navigator's quarters, there's one more thing we got to get, and it is his navigation charts. So we're moving right along here, and from here we'll go west to the crew mess, and we got to get some food. And we go west to a short corridor. A small triangular opening is set behind a large door, so that's what we're going to do with our tri-crystal, is we're going to put the tri-crystal in the opening. And now we're in the alien computer complex. So there's something that we need in here. If we examine the computer, there's a door on the side. Open the door. Inside you find a battery. Get battery. Okay, so let's get out of here. And in the crew mess, there is a secret passageway headed down. There is a hidden access way. And in here we have to push the blue button, Door opens in the floor, and if we go down, now we have encountered the bug-eyed monster. So we're going to have to attack the monster, and the monster attacks you first. So we're going to have to fight this monster. Oh, it's a terrible fight. And this is actually something you can lose. It's total random chance. Oh, it's a terrible fight. Oh, you got me. Oh, it's a terrible fight. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Oh, we did it. We got the monster. It falls and hits a button, opening a hole on the floor. So let's go in the hole. And we made it to the library. So here's where we get the microfilm. So if we head up out of here and go west, the air is moist. You have found the swimming pool. It is a beautiful glimmering surface. So this is a tough one to figure out. If you examine the pool, something dark and irregular is at the bottom. We know that we need that, but if you get into the pool, it's a deadly alien liquid and it'll kill you. So what we have to do is we have to tie the magnet to the cord and go fishing. You haul up a key. All right. So there's a couple more things that we got to collect. If we go west, here in the electronic parts house, there's a slimy monster, and it says that he's hungry. So what we do is we drop the food. The monster is distracted by the food. When it moves, you see a circuit board. So get circuit board. So we're almost done here. There's one more thing we need. We go up to the recreation lounge and we get the headphones. So we should have everything we need now. If we go east, back up, and here we are back to the main access way. And once again, we're standing on a thick disc, and you eventually find out that you have to move the disc, revealing a shaft down. If we go down, we're in the control room. But a voice sounds in the room. All components are present, but pre-flight check is incomplete. Well, there's a secret passageway leading up from the crew mess. This upward sloping corridor leads to a door, and a regular shaped hole is to the side of the door. And this is why we needed that dark irregular object at the bottom of the pool. It's to open this door. And this seems to be some sort of control room, but you can't tell just what the purpose is for. The room contains a large viewport and a Canon-looking device outside. The staircase leads down. And if you push the violet button, a beam of light streaks into the sky. A panel says beacon on. So that was the pre-flight check that we needed to do. So if we go back down and go down into the control room, we're all set to go. So let's examine the panel. The sign reads, all items must be inserted in order. Enter start to begin. Well, how do we know what the order is? If we examine the viewer, there's a tiny slot about 1.5 inches wide. And if we insert the microfilm, the viewer comes on, the microfilm flashes alphabetize. Okay, so we don't know what we need to do. We can start. Here are the components. Insert the first component. So if we're going in alphabetical order, the first one would be battery. Second would be circuit board, then cube, and then fuel pellet. Make sure not to spell anything wrong. And next would be headphones, and then navigation charts, and finally the power crystal that we got from the caverns. The ship homes from power. The strange light surrounds you, and you suddenly feel much lighter. And all we have to do now is push blue button, the hatch closes, and finally push red button. And we did it. The ship blasts off. You did it. Congratulations. Well done. The clone will probably bring help, if it doesn't malfunction, of course. And that's it. That's a quick run through of this game that most people would spend weeks trying to figure out. All right, if you're still watching, I've got a real treat for you. This next game that we had as a kid from Gemini Marketing is Dungeons of Pun 3. And I'm just going to show it to you. Another fine product from Gemini Marketing Incorporated. And here's all the shareware information here. You can send mail to the author. Look at this. Oh boy. Do you want digitized sounds? Yes. All right, let's put in disc 2. So as you can hear there, the game has a lot of digitized sounds in it. Just really low bit rate, crunchy, digitized samples of speech and stuff. So this game's like a proto dungeon crawler, you know, maybe like an ancestor of Diablo or something. So let's pick our character. We're going to be Band-Aid Boy, and let's just go with the default name. We're Big Daddy. So this is a pretty silly game. It's got quite the sense of humor, and you walk around in the dungeon and, you know, pick stuff up, haul an oat mail grabbed, and you can equip that as like your armor. And everything's randomized every time you play it, so it's kind of just an endless slog going through the floors of these dungeons, just hoping you'll find what you need, because it's all randomized. But what's truly great is that you can play any of the digitized samples at any time. And some of them are just incredible. Our favorite as a kid was this one. And the absolute highlight is Play Synthesizer. So what that is it's one single sample, and by typing all the different keys on the keyboard, it pitches it around. They're not quite in tune. It's not exactly like an octave. Like they didn't do the math right on pitching them up and down or something, because you can't quite play a scale. Pretty incredible. Kind of makes me want to make like a Nine Inch Nails inspired album. Incredible. The rest of the game from there is... He's going down. Wow! It's full of supposedly funny characters and funny samples and stuff. And books that you can grab. We'll see if we can find an enemy to fight here. Oh, there's an Arctic ice ring on a hot pink feather. All kinds of great items. It's turn-based, so sledgehammer. Let's wear oh, there we go. Wearing a sledgehammer now. It's turn-based, so when I find an enemy, we'll like take turns popping on each other to see who wins. But these, is that where? Oh, I already found my way to floor 3. It's totally random where all the staircases are. And there's 40 floors, so it's unlikely that you would ever reach the end of this game. Especially since as you go down, there's more and more monsters. Oh, here's one. Let's fight this guy. Oh, see? Oh, he killed us in 2 hits. Be whopped, buddy. So there you go. There's Dungeons of Pun 3. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this look at DOS-based shareware games from the 80s and 90s. And don't even think about subscribing to this YouTube channel because it's all garbage. Bye-bye.